like to begin with a quote by Sir Martin Luther King. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. So true, isn't it? So true, especially in today's arena of the trade union movement. Comrades, let us ponder over the history for a while. In 1954, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had rightly called the public sector enterprises as the temples of modern India. They have been the lifeline of the Indian economy. The socio-economic transformation that has always been visioned by the national leadership has only been possible because of the presence of the public sector enterprises. Thus we see the public enterprises have always been the backbone of the Indian economy. And undoubtedly, the trade unions have been the backbone of these public sector enterprises. Thus we see the public sector enterprises as well as the trade unions have always shared a common glorious history. Of having this common glorious history on our part, let us not keep a doubt that the survival of our public enterprises is at stake. We are not going to allow that. But there is an alarm, comrades. We see the government today is following a dual policy. A policy wherein on one hand, they are pampering the so-called public-private entities, and on the other hand, we see there is autocratic treatment that is being given to the public sector enterprises. There is a small logic, friends. Whenever there is a famine in a village, we don't go for killing of the people. The logic says we have to provide food to them. But the headless government today is following this particular logic of killing the people rather than providing food to the people. So friends, we need to understand that this particular hidden agenda of the government, that needs to be killed somewhere. The government is coming up with the logic that these private entities are being pushed so that the financial inclusion is achieved. So that the financial inclusion or the financial services reach out to the last citizen of the country. But friends, I would like to question the gathering here. Do you really feel these private entities who are offering advances at rate of interest of more than 15%, will they ever be able to serve the common man of my country? Never. So the fight that we are fighting for is not just a fight for the public sector enterprises or the public sector banks. We are fighting because we want the Achhe Din to come in true reality in this country. There are so many social security schemes that have been implemented in the country. You name it, the Jan Dhan, the fiasco of the demonetization, or at present, what the Mudra scheme that has been religiously implemented. It is implemented by the blood and sweat of my friends, of my brothers and sisters. They burn the midnight oil, they work hard, and they serve the common man of this country. So friends, we need to just understand that our fight is not just for us, our fight is for the common man of this country. From yesterday, there is one quote that has been displayed on the dais. Be a voice, not an echo. It's very relevant, friends. What I feel and what I request from the IBOC today is, let's be a voice in this industry, not an echo. I want IBOC to be the torch bearer in the industry. Let us not be someone who is known just for wealth settlement. Let us be a body, the apex body in the industry, who will work for the upliftment of the cadre, who will work for the dreams of the cadre. As already stated, 60% of the cadre that is there in the industry today, they are all youth. We have come down here with our dreams. We have come down here with our ambitions. How can we compromise with our dreams and with our ambitions? How can we allow this particular government to have a sound sleep when we are spending sleepless nights? Gone are the days, when the agitations or the trade union movement was, we stand in a corner, we give slogans, we do small agitations. We need to come out of those old shackles of old school trade union movement. We have to revamp ourselves. We need to improvise ourselves. We need to make a difference. Let us accept that there are imperfections with everyone. And IBOC as a body, I feel, even we should accept that. And in the days to come, let us build our movement in such a way that is relevant to the cadre and that is relevant to the countrymen. So I would like to only end with a few poetic lines. खोल दे पंख मेरे कहता है परिंदा, खोल दे पंख मेरे कहता है परिंदा, अभी और उड़ान बाकी है. जमीन नहीं है मंजिल मेरी, जमीन नहीं है मंजिल मेरी, अभी पूरा आसमान बाकी है, अभी पूरा आसमान बाकी है. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you. Next speaker will be from you.
State unit strength means our whole association will be strengthened. That has to be my first point. It is with a great pride and a sense of belonging that the CBOA, now under the umbrella of IBOC, our apex organization and the largest officers fraternity in the world. The transition feels like coming back to our mother's lap. As our responsible trade union, we have been actively involved in the officers' struggle last 3 years. We have been actively participated in all struggles, whatever the IBOC call for or other protests, we have participated. Now under the umbrella of IBOC, now we are under our General Secretary Ravi Kumar and our beloved IBOC comrade General Secretary Rubam Roy recognized the importance of standing together, and now we are on the right path and right direction. I am endorsing full confidence in the report of our General Secretary presented here. Almost all subjects it has covered. International and the national scenario, it is fully covered. International, that the subject, now we know that our currently world filled with the complexity and confusion. Even the most intelligent world-built nations, well-built nations like Israel, have faced challenges such as the recent attacks by terrorist group. Despite their strength, Israel struggled to deal with these threats. So no nation can claim that we are now very strengthened country in the world. That is a complexity and confusion in our world. About our report, so many subjects here discussed. I am concentrating one subject only. That is yesterday our IBA chairman, M.V. Rao, has emphasized in his speech one point. He stopped there. What is that point? The importance of artificial intelligence in our banking. How it affects our banking scenario, our banking. That is question aired but is stopped. Therefrom I am starting. For a interest, I just gone through our some reports in the Google. In the latest recent study by Penny Crossman of American banker, highlights the significant impact of artificial intelligence in the bank. With 70% of front office jobs potentially being displaced by technology. This shift has led to the replacement of 4,85,000 tellers, 1,74,000 loan officers in America, 2,19,000 customer relation officers and clerks, by so-called chatbots, voice assistants, and automated authentication process. Additionally, 96,000 finance managers and compliance officers have been laid off due to this artificial intelligence driven anti-money laundering and anti-fraud measures. This wave of automation poses a real threat to bank employees, highlighting the need for stringent laws to protect their interest in this challenging situation. So, I appeal to our Central Committee of IBOC to constitute a committee to study the effects of this artificial intelligence and give a report how it affects our banking scenario in these times, in the coming years. That point I want to raise here. Next point I want to raise here, that recently our SBI chairman Khara, earlier we know that the management always, the authorities always saying, we don't want the branches. We are 98% of that we are now in our that ecosystem of our this technology. So we don't need the branches. Now last week, our SBI chairman given a statement. Somebody asked me if 89% of digital and 98% transaction were happening outside the branch, whether the branch is required anymore? My answer is yes, it is still required because there are new areas which are emerging. So I appeal to our bank, our Central Committee to give a resolution to open new branches. 50,000 new branches we have a scope because we are now 142 crores of people. If we consider 10,000 per branch, we can
Your
open.
time is going.
Yeah, 50,000 branches we can open. 50,000 open means lakhs of recruitments we can make. So that type of a resolution we have to make, and that at last one point I want to hear. Recent one circular DOPTS issued, Department of Personnel and Training, doubtful integrity or found to be ineffective are not allowed to continue in government service, includes bank. We have to oppose this, otherwise it will harm our banking scenario, banking approach. Thank you.
In my friend from the entire country, before commencing my speech, I am fully concur with the views of General Secretary's report, both in construction and contents. Thank you very much for the beautiful report. And all of you are aware that one of the government of India scheme, PSB 99, when the government is expecting a loan for MSME sector in 99 minutes, why don't we get the finance banking at least in 99 days? I request our IBOC leaders to give this finance banking as our Independence Day gift before August 15. And the pension updation also, expect from IBOC leaders, at least we can fix some timeline as Diwali gift that is scheduled on October 31st of this year. In our country, we are speaking hundreds of languages for the welfare of our country. The only language is AABOC. When it comes to national integrity, Parliament alone not speaking about the national integrity. Our IBOC is also speaking about the national integrity because all the educated people are assembled here. When it comes to priority sector advances to poor people, downtrodden people, we only taking care. It is not the union of railway employees, it is not the duty of postal employees, it is not the duty of any other police department or any kind of department. The only concern for the banking community people, we the IBOC officers, we are the taking care of for the downtrodden people, poor people and for the downtrodden people and the priority sector reference of the Government of India scheme. So, I am very much confident with the capability of IBOC leaders, they can achieve anything because thousands of demands achieved by IBOC. Since as a senior member of our officer association and IBOC, I am very well saying thousands of demands backed by so many remands, imprisonments. Right from the period of Sengupta, we achieved thousands of achievements based on so many remands to get all our demands. Why don't these two major things of 5 days banking and pension reputation and modernized and mechanized or restructured new pension scheme or at least the reintroduction of the old pension scheme? I have no doubt for the banking community, AEBOC is the umbrella, like sun, moon and everything. It is an umbrella of entire banking community, none other than our IBOC. Actually, our IBOC represents the entire country geographically, Assam to Mumbai and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and we have achieved so many historical things. We have covered the subjects and we are speaking so many languages, linguistic areas from the entire country. We are covering the subjects of history, geography and languages by way of proper introduction of mathematical calculation with an applied chemistry. Definitely, I am of the opinion that we can achieve 5 days banking as Independence Day gift and pension updation as Diwali gift. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
My heart is on the left side and the quote written here is also touches my heart. So the podium is also on the left. That's why I speak from the podium only. Comrade Presidium, Comrade General Secretary, leader on the dais and leader of the dais. I, Suganta De from Canara Bank Officer Association, in support of GS report, I would like to speak some words. Sir, first of all, thank you. In GS report, our re-affiliations to CVRs to AIBC has written there as a column. So thank you for making this space in GS report. I think in this August gathering, I think a good number of people, I know even in the dais, people are there who have joined after 1/4/2010. That means were covered under DCPS, that is NPS. Many of the speakers before me have touched this point, but I will go a little deep, particularly in that topic. Sir, it is good to see that AIBOC has taken up that particular agenda as an official resolution in our resolution book, that is resolution number 10 and resolution number 14. As our beloved General Secretary Rupam Roy told that to achieve some big goal, we have to move slowly and we have to achieve some small goals, some small objectives. That's why before scrapping that NPS or before initiating that OPS, I request the August gathering to think some of the points which I used to mention. Central government employees were covered under NPS. For them, they have revamped it. They have somehow improved the NPS scheme. These beneficial points are not applicable for our NPS scheme. I am just mentioning 1 or 2 points here. First one, for a central government employee who joined under NPS scheme, in the day of joining, they are offered a seat where they have to sign for 2 options. One, in case of death, his family will get the NPS benefits whatever available for death. And another option is that whatever the contribution is made from the employee side, it will be given to him, and whatever the contribution will be given from the employer side will be transferred to the OPS purpose. Again I am telling, it will be transferred to the OPS purpose, and the family will get the pension from the old pension scheme. These are the good points which are covered for the central government employees but not implemented in our banking sector. Another thing I used to mention here, being a banker, we are the custodian of public money. We are suggesting the people, sir, where to invest, how do you manage your wealth? But it is unfortunate, it is when it comes to my contribution in the NPS, it is decided by some other fellow. At least whatever contribution I am giving, you give me the choice so that I can invest in proper pension fund. Friends, I think many of you have checked the return level of the present fund. I am sorry to say it is very, very marginal. Even those who are habituated with the mutual fund, the return of the pension fund is very below than an average return of a mutual fund. So I request our leadership kindly think and discuss on that matter, that at least whatever the contribution we are making, we must give a window to invest through our own choice. And lastly, one thing I wish to mention regarding NPS, that is in central government employees, the person who's regarding his employment, the notification or the exam or maybe the interview happened on 1/1/2004, before 1/1/2004. The government has given them a single option to join OPS as a single time measure. I request we must pursue on that same line for the recruitees who have joined our bank, for them whose notifications is released before 1/4/2010 or exam happened before 1/4/2010. Let them give a chance, at least for a one-time measure, let them join to OPS. These are the few points which I think our top leadership will consider. Next, come to the GS report. I have few observations which I used to make regarding disciplinary and appeal regulation. Sir, I used to make because many of the speakers have made some points. I used to add some points, sir. When most of the banks, all the banks are governed by the similar officer regulation, why not a IBA type? IBA have some educational loan, IBA approved education loan policy, IBA approved OTS settlement policy. Why not a uniform accountability policy for all the PSBs? And sir, regarding I have noted some of the observations from the GS report, sir. In GS report regarding bad bank, that is NARCL, in page number 29, we are suggesting that some improvement is required for the bad bank. On the other hand, in page number 51, we are opposing the formation of the NARCL. So it's a contradictory. So I request August leadership will clarify in this matter. And another thing, sir, two things are mentioned in the report and with the dates. But the dates already gone. So I would like to request the General Secretary and the President, what is the present outcome particularly on this regard? That is, sir, in LFC matter, one I think ABS has filed an appeal to the Honorable Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has directed regarding the foreign travel permission, and it will be considered the furthest most point travel within India. Then there was a Supreme Court has the directions to attend a Lok Adalat on 27/6/2004 to 24. So what is the development in this regard? I used to know. And another thing is, sir, our banking ombudsman scheme. It's generally I must say it is a one-way traffic. We must talk with the RBI regarding particularly this scheme. Whenever a complaint lodged in the system, if the merit is there, the RBI ombudsman, through ombudsman, they will penalize our officers. They impose penalty on us. But when bank proves that complaint is fake, simply the complaint will be denied. There will be no action on the other part. So I request kindly take up with the RBI so that only genuine complaints will come. Because it's become a tool to harass our officers and managers. And lastly, most of the resolutions, I have read it out. One of the two vital resolutions, that is resolution number 9 and resolution number 15. It clearly linked with the ILO convention, some resolutions. Out of total ILO resolutions, total 8 resolutions are there. India has accepted out of 8 6 resolutions, and we will be asked to know 2 resolutions. Due to some certain reasons, India has not accepted. Can you want to know which are the resolutions? I am telling you. These resolutions are, that is resolution number 87, freedom of association and protection of right to organize convention, and another resolution is right to organize and collective bargaining convention. So I request our August leadership kindly take up with the government so that government also ratify their clause and accept these 2 clauses also of the ILO convention. Lastly, I don't know whether our Sanjeev Sen or AIB Secretary is there or not. I will speak 2 words in Assamese. Sanjeev da, গুৱাহাটী আই কলে ভাল লাগিল আপোনাৰ এনেকে প্রোগ্রাম বহুত ধুনিয়া হয়েছে কার্যক্রম বড়িয়া হয়েছে থ্যাংক ইউ ফর ইয়োর ইনভিটেশন এন্ড all the activities it's going very smooth thank you
नमस्कार
नमस्ते
सबसे पहले रेस्पेक्टेड लीडर्स सिटिंग ऑन द डायस और ऑफ द डायस सबसे पहले माँ कामाख्या के भूमि और आसाम की जितनी यूनिट थी उसने इतना शानदार व्यवस्था करने के लिए उनको तहे दिल से कोटि कोटि साधुवाद। धन्यवाद मेरे भाई जनरल सेक्रेटरी के रवि कुमार का जिन्होंने ये मंच प्रदान किया मुझे अपना पक्ष रखने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। बेसिकली कल से आज तक बहुत सारे वक्ताओं ने अपने अपने वक्तव्य दिए अपने अपने विचार रखे अपनी अपनी समस्याओं को रखा। मैं उतनी देर से वही सब कुछ सुन रहा था। कल से सुनते सुनते मैं बोला मेरा नंबर कब आएगा। हमारे आईबॉक के जनरल सेक्रेटरी बिलावल गुरुबंदा ने बोला 60% युवा है बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री में 60% युवा है। बेसिकली आज की तारीख में मेरा व्यू है कि ना हमें गवर्नमेंट से थ्रेट है ना नोबा से थ्रेट है ना किसी सेना से थ्रेट है ना किसी अदर एसोसिएशन से थ्रेट है तो मेरे उदासीन युवाओं से। क्योंकि अगर मेरा युवा नहीं जागा तो ये इंडस्ट्री जो 29 PSU बैंक थे आज 12 हो गए और आने वाले समय में अगर ये नहीं हो गए तो और डिटेरियोरेट होगी। और मेरा एक बड़ा दुख भी है कि 6 अक्टूबर 1985 आईबॉक का गठन हुआ था। उसके बाद आज तक रुबंदा आज तक डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल तक हमारी आईबॉक की यूनिट नहीं बनी। ये हमारा एक फेलियर है। शायद मेरे व्यू से ये आईबॉक का फेलियर है क्योंकि हमें समझना चाहिए कि आने वाला समय हमारे लिए कितना कठिन होने वाला है। उस समय को पहले से भापना हमारे लिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। मैं आपसे गुजारिश करूंगा रुबंदा क्या आप कम से कम साल में एक बार हर स्टेट में जाएं और लोगों को जगाएं उनको बताएं कि बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री के लिए और आप क्या क्या कर रहे हैं। सिंपली सिर्फ वेतन समझौता तक सीमित नहीं रहना है क्योंकि अगर मेरे युवा मेरे साथी लोग नहीं जागे तो आने वाला समय कैसा होगा आप समझ सकते हो। क्योंकि कल से लेकर आज तक बहुत सारे वक्ताओं ने अपनी अपनी समस्याएं बताई। उन समस्याओं का एकमात्र हल है यूनिटी और जागरूक होना। बेसिकली मेरे वो लोग मेरे युवा लोग आज की तारीख में बोला ना 3 दिन की कॉन्फ्रेंस थी 3 दिन की कॉन्फ्रेंस में आज 40% भी लोग नहीं है। ये हमारे लिए बड़ी शर्म की बात है। और ये आप बोलते हो कैसे लड़ेंगे किसी भी संगठन से या किसी सरकार से सिर्फ इस बेसिस पे कि सूटकेस लिया और चल दिए। रुबंदा को धन्यवाद दिया तो रुबंदा बहुत अच्छा सूटकेस दिया है सिर्फ इसलिए। ये आईबॉक का मंच इसलिए है क्या ये आईबॉक का मंच बेसिकली यूनाइटेड करने के लिए है लड़ने के लिए है अपनी ताकत दिखाने के लिए। तो मेरा आप सब लोगों से निवेदन रहेगा बी यूनाइटेड और एक होके लड़े, जागरूक होके लड़े। इलिटरेसी, बेसिकली हम इलिटरेट लोग हैं जिसको बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री के बारे में, आने वाले खतरे के बारे में कोई जानकारी नहीं है। हम छोटे छोटी लड़ाइयाँ, छोटे छोटे स्वार्थों में बटे हुए हैं। अरे सैलरी बढ़ गई, हमारा सब कुछ हुआ, 1 करोड़ का मकान ले लिया, 15 लाख की एसयूवी ले ली, और तो और इलेक्ट्रिक जाने के लिए वो लिमिट 500 किलोमीटर तक कर दी गई। पर जाने का समय है, कोई सुकून से जा सकता है क्या सुकून से अपने परिवार को लेकर जा सकता है? आपने तो बताओ, किसी के घुस में है? नहीं है भाई साहब, हम पैसे से, सैलरी से घुसे। कल से आज तक सब सैलरी के बारे में बता रहे, सैलरी नहीं, अब सुकून चाहिए। 5 दिन की वर्किंग नहीं, जीवन में सुकून चाहिए। अगर सुकून नहीं मिला तो वो पैसा किस काम का? वो सुकून नहीं मिला, मेरे परिवार को सुकून नहीं मिला तो वो सैलरी बढ़ी हुई किस काम की? वो मेरे मैयत के लिए या मेरे के लिए, जनाजे के लिए? याद रखो, अगर आप सुकून के लिए लड़ाई लड़ना है, अपने हित के लिए लड़ाई लड़ना है। और मेरा अभी भी आईबॉक के जनरल सेक्रेटरी से मेरा निवेदन रहेगा, सर मेरी बातों में ध्यान रखिएगा। अगर आईबॉक की डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल तक यूनिट आपने स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं करी तो आने वाला समय में स्ट्राइक के दिन जो लोग हॉलीडे छुट्टी मनाने जाते हैं और आईबॉक के इसमें माँ कामाख्या के दर्शन करने ये चेरापूंजी घूमने जा रहे हैं, उससे काम नहीं चलेगा। आने वाला समय हमारे लिए बहुत ही धन्यवाद। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं पुनः अपने जनरल सेक्रेटरी से रवि कुमार जी का धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि उन्होंने मुझे ये मंच प्रदान किया, जिस मंच से मैं अपना पक्ष रख सकूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जिंदाबाद, आईबॉक जिंदाबाद, जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद।
From Canara Bank Officers Association, which is leading by the mighty leader, our beloved General Secretary Sri Ravi Kumar sir. And I would like to talk a few concerns about privatization. The main purpose of nationalizing the banks were to upbringing the poor and to balance the socio-economic life of Indians and to provide the banking needs to every nook and corner of our country. Accordingly, government introducing many FI schemes like Jan Dhan Yojana, PMJJBY, SBY, APY, Swanidhi, etc. And all these schemes, majorly 90 to 95% are being implemented by public sector banks. Even if you consider education loans without collaterals, PSBs are having majority of more than 90% share. Unlike some private banks which are concentrating only on maximizing their net profit, it is PSBs who are reaching the poor and implementing all these schemes. Despite of implementing all these, in the last financial year, the public sector banks achieved record net profit of more than 1.4 lakh crore, which is 34% rise from the previous financial year. In fact, the net profit of PSBs are multiplied by 4 times in the last 3 years. All this happened because of whom? It is happened only because of all of us who are sitting here and all of us. Some private banks like and NBFCs which are closed or collapsed like Global Trust Bank, DHFL, Punjab Maharashtra Cooperative Bank, S Bank, Lakshmi Vilas Bank, etc. At this juncture, some eminent personalities like Sri Montek Singh Ahluwalia, who was former Deputy Chairperson of Planning Commission, and Sri Arvind Bangaria, Chairperson of Finance Commission, Sri Raghuram Rajan, who was former Governor of RBI, made some comments in favor of privatization of PSBs. Mr. Arvind Bangaria, he made comments that PSBs are now in very good health and they are flourishing and they have the solid value and it's a good time to privatize. When the government was in the thoughts of privatization, we as IBOC run the campaigns and showed our power. Now the government is preparing ground for privatization again. When the persons like Arvind Bangaria are making comments about privatization, we as IBOC were not responded and not replied to them in any form. I request all our top leaders of IBOC, when any prominent person or any body is making comments about PSBs, we should respond them in a way they understand, and from next time when anyone thinks about commenting on PSBs or its employees, immediately IWOC and its 3 lakh plus workforce should come in their mind. Let us tell them it is not about privatizing PSBs. We PSBs are ready to take over the private banks. I also kindly request the leadership of our IWOC that kindly ensure to enhance the visibility of IWOC in all the states and districts by strengthening the local units, and also kindly visit all the states and organize state level meetings frequently. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
नमस्कार सभी को, मैं सागर पांडे फ्रॉम कैनरा बैंक ऑफिसर्स एसोसिएशन। मंच पर आसीन सभी लीडर्स को मेरा नमस्कार। सबसे पहले मैं आईबॉक और सीबीओ का तहे दिल से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि इस प्रतिष्ठित मंच से मुझे अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर दिया गया। आज मैं आपके सामने एक बहुत छोटा सा लेकिन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इशू पे बात करना चाहूंगा। मतलब हमारा मतलब आईबॉक का सोशल मीडिया पे प्रेजेंस। चीजों को आगे बढ़ाने से पहले मैं थोड़ा सा समय में पीछे ले जाऊंगा आपको। सितंबर 2021 में श्री रवि कुमार सर सीबीओए के जनरल सेक्रेटरी निर्वाचित हुए। उनके निर्वाचन के तुरंत बाद उन्होंने कुछ इश्यूज के ऊपर तेजी से काम करना चालू किया। उसमें से एक था सीबीओए का सोशल मीडिया प्रेजेंस। इसके लिए काफी सारे निर्णय लिए गए, इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन लिए गए, जिसमें सर्वप्रथम था कि एक इन हाउस डेडिकेटेड सोशल मीडिया टीम बनाई गई, जिसका प्राइमरी रोल रहा कि मेजर सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स के जरिए सीबीओ की एक्टिविटीज और थॉट्स को अपने मेंबर्स और जनरल पब्लिक तक पहुंचाना। परिणाम स्वरूप इसके रिजल्ट्स काफी अच्छे रहे और इसके द्वारा सीबीओ ने मेंबर्स, बैंक मैनेजमेंट और जनरल पब्लिक में पॉजिटिव पर्सपेक्टिव क्रिएट किया। दोस्तों, एक प्रसिद्ध कहावत है कि सबसे अच्छी जंग वो होती है जो कभी लड़ी नहीं गई हो, बल्कि बिना लड़े जीती गई हो। और आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में यह जंग पर्सपेक्टिव की जंग है। और इस पर्सपेक्टिव की जंग में सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट हथियार है सोशल मीडिया। सोशल मीडिया का इंपॉर्टेंस इसी बात से पता चलता है कि पिछले एक दशक हर क्षेत्र में जो प्रभाव सोशल मीडिया का रहा है वो बाकी सभी मीडियम से ज्यादा है और इफेक्टिव रहा है। चाहे न्यूज हाउस हो, सेलिब्रिटीज हो या फिर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हो, सभी को अपने विचारों को अभिव्यक्त करने के लिए सोशल मीडिया का यूज करना पड़ा है और बैंकिंग एसोसिएशन भी इसे अनदेखा नहीं कर सकता। प्रोफेसर राम मोहन ने कल अपने प्रेजेंटेशन में भी यही सुझाव दिया था कि आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में आईबॉक जैसे बड़े एसोसिएशन की प्रायोरिटी सोशल मीडिया एंड मीडिया के थ्रू जनरल पब्लिक में अपने फेवर में पर्सपेक्टिव क्रिएट करना होना चाहिए। उन्होंने ये सजेस्ट किया था कि आईबॉक शुड हैव अ डेडिकेटेड सोशल मीडिया टीम। हमें ये बताया गया है कि आईबॉक अपने सोशल मीडिया को मैनेज करने के लिए एक ह्यूज अमाउंट स्पेंड कर रहा है और वो भी एक्सटर्नल एजेंसीज के द्वारा। शायद मेरी ये जानकारी गलत हो सकती है, लेकिन मेरी ये जानकारी गलत बिल्कुल नहीं है कि आईबॉक का सोशल मीडिया प्रेजेंस कम है, जितना रिक्वायर्ड है उससे कम है, नगण्य है, अपर्याप्त है। बेशक सोशल मीडिया एक दो धारी तलवार है, पर एक डेडिकेटेड टीम, सही ट्रेनिंग और सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी सही मार्गदर्शन के साथ हम इसे बखूबी अपने फेवर में यूज कर सकते हैं। सर, कितने भी ट्रोल्स हों, कितने भी लेग पुलर हों, कितने भी मड थ्रोअर हों, अगर हम सही हैं, हमारा तरीका सही है, हम पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन में काम कर रहे हैं, तो यही सोशल मीडिया जिसे हम आज नेगेटिव वे में ले रहे हैं वही हमारा महत्वपूर्ण हथियार बन सकता है। और इसीलिए मेरा सुझाव है कि आईबॉक अपनी एक डेडिकेटेड एंड इम्पोर्टेंटली इन हाउस टैलेंट को यूज करके सोशल मीडिया टीम बनाना चाहिए, जिसका प्राइमरी फोकस आईबॉक की एक्टिविटीज एंड थ्रू आउट प्रोसेस को इस तरीके से प्रेजेंट करना रहे कि हर जगह वो पर्सपेक्टिव की जंग आईबॉक जीते। शहीद आजम भगत सिंह की एक प्रसिद्ध कथन के साथ मैं अपने स्पीच को विराम देना चाहूंगा कि बहरों को सुनाने के लिए धमाका करना जरूरी होता है, और आज के हालात में वो धमाका सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू इजीली किया जा सकता है। धन्यवाद।
Respected General Secretary IBOC, President, leaders on and off the dais, I, Sushma, from Canara Bank Officers Association, extend a heartfelt thanks for giving me this opportunity to speak. I want to start with the lines of Malala Yousafzai. there are two powers in the world. One is sword and the other is the pen. But there is a third power, stronger than both, that of women. Today we celebrate that women now make up more than 40% of workforce in banks. This is a remarkable achievement. Yet, a glaring disparity remains: the underrepresentation of women in unions and leadership roles. Why is it that women excel as managers and leaders, but are underrepresented in unions? It is not a lack of ability, but a lack of opportunity and platforms. So we don't need reservations. I'm repeating, we don't need reservations, we need strong, supportive platforms to empower women to shine. Dear friends, look around, how many girls are there? I want to thank our General Secretary, the CBOA General Secretary, that he had given us the friendly atmosphere so that almost 10 women comrades are here from CBOA and attending the IBOC China. This shows what intentional support can achieve. Imagine the potential we could unlock if we will fully harness our talented female workforce. By creating platforms for women to showcase their leadership, we enrich our institution with diverse viewpoints and holistic approaches. Management has already recognized the value of women in leadership roles. Women are excellent as managers, directors, and executives. So why should the criteria be different from the union representation? If women can lead teams, drive profits, and manage crises, they can certainly represent their colleagues in unions. So it's time for IBOC to create platforms and a friendly atmosphere that gives women the confidence to shine here as well. Let us shift from reservation to representation and build platforms that elevate women based on their capabilities and contributions. At last, I want to say, please listen this carefully. The true republic means men, their rights, and nothing more. But women, their rights, and nothing less. Thank you.